My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. License plate 9 Paul George Berry 815 is stalking. All right, and the proof of that stalking is literally science. And in case you did not know, science that has a disdain for referencing Christ the Lord, the creator of everything, who created the sun and the design with regard to the natural environment, dictates what is identifying a crime scene where a population is maintaining an environment, a crime scene for ongoing a course of conduct regarding what is surveillance in the United States, and I'm in California. So while you have a fake sun, you're creating activity and you're stalking in that environment on behalf of the government. 2976 Larry Paul, that's a handicap, and her handicap status is not merely physical, as DMV would refer to it. She's a psychopath, based on the pattern of conduct that they are engaging in uniformly. No training, all right, no conversation, no conferences in the morning, 9KKF298, stalking with activity and doing so under this fakes. Now, what you would want to pay attention to is I'm at 646 West Holt Boulevard, and right here at Holt Boulevard, where the people of the state, the entities controlling the traffic lights, that's what's happening right now. They're all monitoring. Golden Bear Inn, that demon at 661 Holt Boulevard, the headlights are facing toward me. They're stalking. They're all listening to me. They're all vagina monitors. This is psychopathic pacing under the fake sun, which is supposed to create the illusion that they're all driving under in a natural environment that you're not even paying attention to. But sunlight's never going to go across the curb where that psychopath is stalking in that black SUV with the broken tail light. They're stalking with light. They're monitoring. And that's state action. And the government is doing so through a population that are not private citizens. 9 Wendy Frank Yolanda 766. And this is for what is prosecuting what is a terrorist. Okay, contrary to what the demon-possessed gang stalker Johnson would like to impliedly convey regarding what is documenting gang violence, which he's engaging in, as he is in the engineered environment under the fake sun, which is what I'm showing you the next morning, where at 530 West Holt Boulevard, the people of the state that are gang stalking are engaging in what is a federal offense while they then summon the gang members of any police department. This is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. The entity is maintaining this fake sun, as you see here, at what is, I'm capturing in the morning on this same venue. On this same street, 530 West Holt Boulevard is right outside of this shopping plaza where the sun would not remain, contrary to what I'm documenting yesterday morning. Okay, it's currently 7:56 a.m. and this fake sun, as you already also know, moves as I move. That's how I'm able to capture at this same exact parking lot at 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm standing here. The fake sun is here. And who was stalking in helicopter at this plaza in that environment? The Ontario Police Department. Gang members that are engaging in surveillance and stalking and not law enforcement. And they are entirely humiliated and engaging in what is harassing while they're stalking. The most pathetic, but also the most terrorizing means of targeting an American citizen, and for which they're going to federal prison. And this is video documentation, cumulative in value, because in court you're going to look at this video, you're going to look at the video I captured yesterday morning right in front of 530 West Holt Boulevard. This is an illusion regarding what would not be on the same street. 530 West Holt is right here at the intersection as I walk onto Holt Boulevard. So this is the same location where the sun is over me, where the airport is stalking, and the entity's doing so with the people of the state who are engaging in this. They're all pacing one after another, and they're not separate. It's one entity. It's on the roads and the highways. It's in the sky space. It's even inside of buildings where I'm showing you demons are stalking like Lupe. She's a vagina monitor, maintaining amplified audible activity. I embarrassed them today publishing that video. That's not just for purposes of embarrassing. It's for making an example out of terrorists in the U.S. and also prosecuting the U.S. government. That are the people of the state. You need to understand, if you haven't gathered it by now, the people of the state are Nephilim. This is the Nephilim. They're legally referred to as the people of the state. 14129 Uncle 1. And this is video documentation because that terrorist who is engaged in gang violence, in case you don't know what terrorism is, that is the entity that is going to federal prison, and that is Safeco Auto LLC. The American citizens are subject to death. They lose their lives when they engage in that same exact pattern of conduct that third party did, while he's a psychopath molesting me with light, just like this one is, stalking in the path under the fake sun. 8KMPO51. It's the same daytime version of what that psychopath, that closeted homosexual, would be doing at nightfall, which is aiming engineered light on me under the guise of someone that's the demon-possessed person that's not molesting you with headlights. They're doing so with regard to what is engineered light, demons that are stalking you with light while they're monitoring you, and it's all state action. This is P.O.C. This is relevant to, in other words, just want to be clear, this is relevant to the documentation regarding fictitious exercise of authority, criminal summoning, criminal defamation by implication by the Ontario Police, and Safeco Auto LLC at 530 West Holt Boulevard that was documented, and I'm showing you the specific environment because that gang, that entire gang, that iteration of the P.O.C, they're all going to federal prison. That is T. York, Sergeant Hall, Johnson, Elias, R. Lilly, Ponce, all of them that were surrounding me in that engineered light. That was a terrorizing, threatening scene. While they are indeed terrorists, and they're doing so while they have guns on their waist, engaging what is coercing regarding what is giving them my ID, while they're engaged in stalking under Title 18 section, they're going to federal prison.
Okay, then this is relevant to that. The entity is stalking me with the whole environment, and that department is stalking me. And as you see them, they're stalking me last night. They're stalking on an ongoing basis. But this is relevant to that crime scene because Safeco Auto LLC is not only going to be shut down, but if that is indeed an immigrant granted a privilege, terrorism is the line, and he is being deported, and that is a terrorist by definition. This is P.O.C. It's currently 8 a.m. at 646 West Holt Boulevard inside of the Ontario Shopping Plaza, Ontario Village Shopping Plaza, P.O.C. Oh, this looks like Ontario Police, true to form, stalking. That's stalking. And it's the same thing when a helicopter is even in the distance. Yes, it's blatant stalking and terrorism when they fly over my head, which they like to do that as well, and fly in circles and go back and forth, then back and forth, then back and forth. You've seen this. This is the ominous stalking where they're at this distance, but yet I'm being touched with light as though their headlights would reach. They're accomplishing the same right now with third party 4UVP039 8RFY083, this psychopathic pacing, while the fake sun is right here over me. All right, and this is regarding what is going to be a problem of domestic terrorists in the United States. They're not just out in Afghanistan. They're in the United States. This is Ontario, California. Mike LORENZ is being federally prosecuted for the demented, psychopathic, sexually violent pattern of conduct. This is the P.O.C. Psychopathic pacing on the road, and guess what else? There you go. Psychopathic pacing in the sky space. That's the Ontario Police, gang stalking, in furtherance of murder. When you are engaging in what is stalking and doing so in a manner that is designed to facilitate and enable systematic terrorism and stalking, that's why you're going to federal prison. That's what the Ontario Police Department are engaging in, and there is no coincidence here. When you've got another demon rolling up, this demon is stalking in the path, doing so while I'm walking, and the demon-possessed gang stalking companies are engaging in that pattern of conduct together. All right, these are demons that both of them are going to prison. I'm going to get their license plates and vehicles right now. This is the entity that engages in what is wearing these uniforms and utilizing the names of these departments to systematically stalk and murder and kidnap people. That is why they are going to federal prison. The fake sun is over me. It's moving as I move. And this psychopath is engaging what is surveilling me while the entity is maintaining amplified noise and pacing all around. I'm getting license plate after license plate after license plate. And it's a criminal activity of the Ontario Police Department. Okay, this is stalking. Engineer light is on the truck. It's not the sun that's remaining over me. These construction workers are stalking. These are all third parties. The Ontario Police Department is no police department. They're stalking. Okay? Exhibit A. This is P.O.C. This is the same position. Big picture. Fake sun at 6 p.m. on June 6, 2025. This is the same intersection of Volz Church 303 East Euclid, 303 North Euclid Avenue, which is at the corner right here. Euclid Avenue, don't get confused. This is C Street, Euclid, where the OVITT Family Community Library is, where the fake sun is rising. This department fully documented. This is in furtherance of what is psychological torture. They are stalking me, tracking my steps, proven by the fake sun. Fake sun that doesn't move anywhere while the people of the state are stalking. These demons are going to prison. License 1706919. License 1680789. These are gang members. Yeah, that's Sandoval. She's going to prison and she knows it. It's vehicle 1129, vehicle 1115. They're going to prison. This is gang violence. They are terrorists. Okay, and there's, by the way, there's no way that a puppet of Satan, okay, a demon-possessed cult member like Johnson can engage in any sort of means to even impliedly defame by virtue of referring to the appropriate label of what is terrorists who are engaging in what is group conduct, gang violence, not law enforcement. She is stalking. I told you she's a psychopath. I documented her a long time ago. She's a psychopath stalking me while I'm walking on the road. The people of the state are engaging in the criminal bidding of the government. And that's the government engaging in stalking. While the entity is engaging in criminal surveillance, the entity is doing so with regard to what is wearing those uniforms and bearing those badges and weapons as a means to systematically facilitate and enable criminal activity. That is why you are going to federal prison. And it's just that simple. You're going to federal prison. American citizens die in under those circumstances every single day, and you know nothing about the surveillance that they're subject to and the targeting that they were subject to while they're subject to it with the people of the state. These gargoyles that are stalking with light, stalking under a fake sun, wearing hard hats and staring at the ground when they're stalking you. Stalking you with their noise, speaking to knowledge, they're targeting you. Stalking you with light activity, speaking to knowledge, they're stalking you. While the entity is maintaining that this is the work of Satan and Satan is being prosecuted, this is the criminalization of that satanic targeting system, which is in California in the United States of America. And this is relevant to what are these gang members? So is Mike Lorenz, this professional chief of vagina monitors. This is going to end up in what is a federal prosecution and prison, P.O.C. It is currently 8:26 a.m. Alrighty, this is the entity that's engaging in stalking. This is Amazon Prime Air. I'm going to prosecute company owners like Bezos, profiting off of criminal surveillance. This is not helpful to Jay Sandoval, who was stalking me on the opposite side of this building. This is the same building, 303 303 North Euclid Avenue, which is right here. This is C Street. That's the OVITT Family Community Library. Amazon Prime gang stalking at 10 o'clock in the morning. Amazon Prime gang stalking all manner of hours under this fake sun and using their vehicles. And terrorist leaders like Bezos are not ignorant. While those operating vehicles and planes and facilities with that logo on it are making money while they are simultaneously engaging in surveillance. All right, while you are supporting that company that is engaging in what is criminally surveilling you and surveilling your genitalia. Amazon Prime is stalking with regard to targeting me. First of all, they don't have any business. There's no planes. That has nothing to do with the operations, the legitimate operations of the airport. The airport's being shut down. The issue right here is the fake sun is moving while I'm encountering the stalker, Jay Sandoval. That's the entire department, the Ontario Police. Fake sun here at 6 p.m. after on June 6, 2025. That's during daylight savings time. So you're literally, what are we at? 8:29 a.m. and during daylight savings time, it will be 9:29 a.m. and 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 10 hours. And as you can see, common sense, let alone science and nature, would speak to the sun would never be here and here where Jay Sandoval is stalking me under that light source during the 8 a.m. hour. And it'd be anything other than what it is that I've shown that entity, that department shares with Amazon Prime and the entirety of that Ontario International Airport that are engaging in the stalking with light. That's what Securitas is doing with that light on the top of that golf cart. What the entity is doing under a fake sun that is still here, shining into the entrance doors of the OVITT Family Community Library right here after 4 p.m. where they are stalking with light. Stalking with light is what is committed by demons, and it is unlawful. And it is going to be the prosecution of an entity that's engaging in crime. It's monitoring, and monitoring is committed in furtherance of murder. Monitoring is evidence. In the same way that committing a violent crime, an egregiously violent, dangerous crime like robbery, is that which is satisfying the prerequisite of premeditation for first-degree murder. You're engaging in monitoring. It is satisfying that element regarding what is premeditation for murder. It's conspiracy to murder. You're no ordinary stalker. You're a gang stalker conspiring the murder of an American citizen. Doing so near light, which is all over the place, including underneath the vehicle. For what is a criminal purpose. They know who you are. You know everything about them while they're gang stalking you in that environment. And the fake sun is in a position where it's remaining in that illusion, where you're paying attention to the environment, all right? Where the entity is engaging what is monitoring, stalking with light. The entity that is stalking with light is stalking as a population, and they are absurdly psychotic. That includes those that are wearing those uniforms like Sandoval, that entire department that are going to be federally prosecuted. They're going to prison. J. Montez, Johnson, T. York, Sergeant Hall, S. Casas, every single last one of them, while they cross path, they do so while they listen to the sentencing. They're going to prison. And this is a public service announcement. All right, this is a service that benefits the public because you're looking at vagina monitors that are engaging in what are taking walks of shame, because that's why you will inject yourself into this damning evidence. And that's relevant to what the malice with which the ongoing gratification that psychopaths derive from stalking, from psychologically torturing, from vagina monitoring, from harassing, from kidnapping and murdering, while you're looking at the Ontario Police provide evidence of their demon possession, of their criminal engagement in the pattern of conduct. It's not helping Securitas. It's not helping Jay Sandoval. It's not helping Jay Montez. It's not helping Safeco Auto LLC and that third party committing sexual assault and battery stalking me with light. It's not helping the demons going to prison at the OVITT Family Community Library. It's not helping the sex offenders of Stater Brothers Markets that I'm going to prosecute as a venue, and I'm also going to prosecute the stalkers inside of that venue. It's not helping the entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct as immigrants who are going to be deported as terrorists. It's not helping any of them while they are focused on me gang stalking. That's relevant. You need to understand the people of the state, this entity, this is the Nephilim. P.O.C. It is currently 8:32 a.m. That's the entity that is stalking, the entity that I have shown at the outset, stalking under a fake sun, which is the conduct of the demon-possessed. They are referred to as the Nephilim in Scripture. Under the law, they are referred to as the people of the state. This is P.O.C. It's 8:33 a.m. Highway safety are headquartered in California. They've got a Chino, Escondido, and Sacramento office. They are engaged in federal stalking with the gang members. They're engaged in a criminal conspiracy to murder with the gang members. They're engaged in threatening with the intent to obstruct justice while they monitor my device while I'm publishing their evidence on the venue of the internet with the gang members who are demon possessed. Highway Safety is nothing other than a third-party company, the guides for surveillance in Ontario and in California. They're monitoring me right now while they're creating light activity. That's what you'll see reflected in the evidence. And those demons are operating commercial vehicles in doing so, just like every other third party. Brightview, Amazon, FedEx. The entity that's engaged in that pattern of conduct got the same facilitating venues, and that's federal prison. I just want to plead, Jay Sandoval is going to prison. You already know that. She's going to federal prison. So is Jay Montez. So is Sergeant Hall and T. York, so is Johnson, so is Elias and Ponce. Those gang members engaging in what is coercing me while bearing guns and weapons and badges while they are stalking me, and they're wearing those uniforms to engage in that violence, which is terrorism, and they're going to prison, and they're gang stalking with Wells Fargo. They're gang stalking with Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments right now. They're gang stalking with the people of the state. That's a federal RICO case. They're engaged in monitoring inside of Wells Fargo, who is also violating federal laws regarding surveillance that Wells Fargo is engaging in. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is a demon creating light activity. I already got their license plate. They are indeed engaged in the state surveillance system, while the gang members engage in the same exact pattern of conduct. While I'm documenting Spectrum, what does the entity do? They're stalking by helicopter as I document Spectrum. As I'm documenting the people of the state where Jay Montez is gang stalking on B Street, what did the entity do? Stalking by helicopter while I'm documenting the demon-possessed people of the state who are psychopaths. This is the Nephilim, and this is the neutralization of the threat that the entity, the gang members themselves. Safety. Highway Safety is a terrorist, and that company is going to be prosecuted like every other business in the state of California and on the internet for what is the largest, most epic federal RICO case in history. This is the criminalization of the system of surveillance that the Nephilim have been engaged in. The Nephilim are referred to as the people of the state. This is the prosecution of the U.S. government. The U.S. government that has been prosecuted based on what is the inability to cease to engage in what is their impulse, what is their predisposition regarding demonic activity, the Nephilim that are the Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:04 a.m. That's the entity engaging what is stalking by helicopters. This is the prosecution of the terrorist leader, LORENZ, who is targeting with every business in Ontario. This is WireNet Communications. The entity has this fake sign, as you're aware, inside of the venue aimed on me, where this demon is stalking, and it's a business that's also, you're going to prosecute the businesses as the persons that they are under the law. These persons are engaged in terrorism in the United States, and this is psychopathic pacing, and using that business is impunity that's relevant to what is a criminal case serving for what are civil damages. You're going to prosecute them. The entity is doing so. That's Highway Safety. Stalking with light activity. Ontario, City of Ontario. Paul Leon's being removed from office. And this is all threatening my life because I'm documenting it. This is P.O.C. I'm going to prosecute for that. The Ontario police are stalking with the people of the state. License 7PWU972. They're driving an impossible light. I'm going to show you 9EHZ327. Stalking with the government in furtherance of murder. They're engaging in surveillance inside of the library. And I'm walking outside to show you the environment where the Ontario police are maintaining criminal surveillance in furtherance of murdering me. All right. This is the pattern of conduct. The entities engaging with psychopathic pacing. This is what West Coast University students are engaging in. Those are sex offenders that are wearing scrubs while they're engaging in criminal activity, psychological torture while seeking to be in the medical field. That's what fills the state of California. Criminals, sex offenders who are stalking and monitoring, engaging in public corruption. That's what's in the medical field in California. That's what is, for example, at Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. Okay, that is what is San Antonio's Medical Center in Upland, California. This is impossible light activity while the entity sounds while the demons that are engaging in surveillance on the internet are engaging in what are trying to lock down my account while they would like to feign not stalking you, not being demons. This is the entity that's engaging in what is stalking in bathrooms, like the United States Postal Service. This is the same sex offender. She is gang stalking. She's going to be federally prosecuted. She's engaged, USPS is engaged in what is monitoring by virtue of what is federal charges regarding what is withholding my mail while they're monitoring, while the entity sought to steal my identity, steal my property. That's why USPS is documented throughout the evidence engaging in the pattern of conduct. This is literally the feds that know who I am. And this is the fake sun. They're all driving in impossible light. That's the City of Ontario maintaining the cloud paths. This is where the entity is, the same third party that's engaged in surveillance outside of the bathroom. I walk outside, the Ontario police are stalking in a helicopter. This is where the fake sun was this morning as I stood outside and took a picture of it. Okay, it's in the same position. This is that illusion where stalking is underway. West Coast University is engaged in what is monitoring in concert with the people of the state. This is criminal surveillance with the city of Ontario, which Paul Leon is engaging in. License 9 Nancy Zebra Henry 490 is stalking with the Ontario police in furtherance of murdering me with the feds. They're driving an engineer light. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct where I captured the Ontario police stalking this morning in helicopter, as a matter of fact. This is the entity that's doing so on an ongoing basis, walking in and out pursuant to pacing. That's not sunlight. And that's a stalker. Okay, all you're doing is putting on blue scrubs and putting on WCU West Coast University because they're inside engaging in vagina monitoring. And the entity, as I have been documenting, will not be engaging in any sort of employment in the medical field, and that's if you're not already going to prison. Okay, but West Coast University is speaking to what is a banner regarding terrorism, which is making you, it is absurd that you're in the medical field or that you will remain. You will not. Okay, this is impossible light activity. West Coast is gang stalking. West Coast maintains many campuses in Ontario, and they have multiple campuses. They're sitting in the engineer line, and let me just also point something out to you. There is no uniform or no position that will make the impossible light that trails into the depths where all the psychopaths are pacing, equally demon-possessed. That's going to make West Coast University look like anything other than gang stalkers who are unfit to be in the medical field. There are also psychopaths that are not focused on studying. They're gang stalking, which is informing what they are doing in the medical field in the gang stalking hospitals, like Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, like San Antonio Regional Hospital, okay, the entity like Kaiser Permanente, venues that I've documented. This is the P.O.C, and this is public corruption and speaking to all of the ways in which public corruption are affecting the lives of American citizens and policies that are going to neutralize the threat, okay? The entity is maintaining what is ongoing audible activity, light activity, relevant positioning, and the engineer light, which you know trails in at a concentrated level. It's present right now. So this is what those that are studying so-called nursing are in, which is speaking to the pattern of conduct. And this is what the Ontario Police Department gang members that are stalking are conspiring with. Okay, there is no making insanity appear normal or innocent. These are those that are going to be removed from the medical field. They will have no access whatsoever. The P.O.C, it is currently 4:25 p.m. This is all impossible light activity. I've got 3 shuttles. This is harassment by those that want to monitor vagina and harass you while they are keeping the evidence under surveillance as well. And this is the entity that is stalking by helicopter as I chase this sex offender to the parking lot. Right, this is P.O.C. He's not moving because he didn't know. He's been monitoring. They're all engaging in surveillance, tracking my steps. This is vagina monitoring and harassment. P.O.C. All right, this is why the demons at the downtown Ontario luxury apartments here are molesting me with impossible light. They're doing so with the stalkers of the Ontario Police Department. They're engaging in sexual assault and battery on behalf of these sex offenders who are stalking in helicopter, doing so at 11:41 p.m. They are indeed engaging in state surveillance. They are engaged in what is stalking. This is one shadow that's in front, and here's another shadow that's behind. Impossible light activity, while the entities engaged in what is stalking in the path using helicopters, just so you can see my shadows on both sides of me. And that is not explained by the light that's behind me, okay? The entities engaged in surveillance and the people of the state, these are sex offenders, and I'm going to make Sarah's Regis Group and every single last demon that is a resident, documented visitors, the entity that is engaging in what is presence at that venue, engaging in surveillance by use of the Tesla charge stations. They're going to be federally prosecuted as violent sex offenders conspiring my murder. The entities engaging in what is the pattern of conduct. What you saw Jay Sandoval doing this morning, she was committing sexual assault and battery as well. She's a sex offender, which is the entity that is a department that is gang stalking, conspiring my murder with the people of the state, conspiring my murder. Touching me with impossible light at the intersection of C Street and Euclid. That's impossible light activity. Touching me with impossible light from the parking garage while they're exiting. That's impossible light activity because your headlights are not reaching over here. Okay, their headlights are not blinding each other. They can see. There's no headlights blinding the back of that truck while that demon is driving behind them. They're all stalking me together. The entity is engaging in what is molestation via engineered light. That's what Jay Sandoval, the Ontario police, are doing this morning when I am under the fake sun and you are stalking in my path under that fake sun. That is the proof that, and that is the ongoing confirmation with regard to what is a scientific fact, that that's not the natural environment. It is there for the stalking purposes of Jay Sandoval, the Ontario Police Department, and the people of the state. And I am being unlawfully touched without my consent, pursuant to a criminal pattern of conduct that agency is engaging in, and Mike Lorenz is going to be prosecuted by. And it is sexual assault and battery during the day. And at nightfall, the same engineered environment is present, and it is sexual assault and battery. It is an unlawful touching that is committed by the group that is engaging in what is stalking you. It is group sexual violence, a group sex act, where demons are engaging in what is an ongoing, incessant sexual touching of your person while they are stalking you obsessively and monitoring your every move. And they are also sex offenders that are monitoring your genitalia, as I have also spelled out for you. The entity is stalking at 11:43 p.m., stalking me by helicopter. This is the evidence to prosecute the people of the state who are committing sexual assault and battery on behalf of those gang members who are being disbanded for this evidence, speaking to what is the criminal activity of the people of the state, which is making, again, the Ontario police are a threat to the public. They're not a police department, and they are going to be shut down. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently, this is video documentation of sexual assault and battery. This is an entity that's molesting me. That's ongoing harassment, psychological torture. It's sexual assault and battery by a stalker that is acting in furtherance of the criminal conspiracy to commit murder, and they're doing it on behalf of the Ontario police that are stalking by helicopter, and they are also doing it with knowledge of the video that I just captured. That is documentation. So this is someone that is threatening your life, and they are doing so intentionally while they are monitoring the evidence. That is the basis of federal prison. Just want to document that. This is P.O.C. You're going to look at these headlights. They're not going to reach over there. And that's also engineered light. It's not even headlights. You are both looking at the car, and you're also looking at demonic activity in real time. This is a demon. And the government, this is going to be the disbanding of the Ontario police. 8COR 102. This is my shadow. This is my shadow over here. This is a sex offender. And they are out in the middle of the night. 11:51 p.m. This is why the Mike Lorenz is being federally prosecuted. This is why the gay Ontario police are being disbanded. This is sexual violence that the Ontario police are they're participating in it together. Okay, and this is the Ontario police communicating a threat. I document them, and they come and commit sexual assault and battery. This is a homosexual. This is a psychopath. It's a Latina female. She's engaging in sexual violence with the Ontario police, and she comes doing that, not a stranger. This is representing the population stalking with that police department. They're being disbanded, and that's federal prison. I'm documenting her gang stalking me at the same time. That's federal prison. It's P.O.C. And as you see that, you see those headlights are not going to touch, but I'm subject to what is a touching by engineered light all over while the entity is stalking by helicopter. That's the demonic pattern of conduct. That's a demon-possessed person as well. Okay, the criminal pattern of conduct is exposing the Nephilim to you. And that is a demon. And the fact that that is a demon, that's a mentally ill person, is also an unlawful threat to me. Mike Lorenz is being federally prosecuted for the pattern of conduct by that agency that is responsible for the criminal activity and the terrorism by the people of the state who are sharing and stalking me together. That's the P.O.C. It is currently 11:53 p.m. I just want to be clear. The gang members who make up T. York, you remember what is Sergeant Hall. You remember R. Lilly. You remember Ponce. You remember Johnson. You remember Elias, those gang members who stood around me in engineered light at 530 West Holt Boulevard. And they had so much sarcasm. All right, they had so much authority telling me, Ponce going out of his way to make sure he told me that I was being detained while they are stalking me. Those gang members are going to federal prison. I cannot be clearer than that. I cannot be more serious with regard to what is warranted. Every video regarding evidence of ongoing stalking by that department they were already going to prison. But all I am doing, in other words, is capturing more and more evidence, understanding the malice behind what is an unlawful threat, where stalkers are a part of agencies that are engaging what is a means of facilitating and enabling criminal activity, like the Ontario police, like those gang members who engage in criminal summoning with stalkers just like that, who are molesting me on behalf of that gang that is stalking me in helicopter. And they did so in retaliation of the video that I just captured. The Ontario Police Department, every single last one. I published another video today regarding M. Ross gang stalking me on May 15, 2022. M. Ross is going to federal prison. So is Jay Montez that I documented gang stalking me just last week. This is the P.O.C. And this is the P.O.C. that is substantiating that ongoing basis of prosecuting terrorism that the gang members of corrupt police departments like the Ontario Police represent. They're going to federal prison in the United States. They're going to federal prison, and so are the people of the state. It is currently 11:54 p.m. This is P.O.C., an entity that is stalking me, where I have a gang of shadows that surround me. Those are not strangers. You also know that they're not strangers because the entity is stalking me under the fake sun. They're also not strangers, and you know that because I'm being molested with that which is not manifesting from your headlights. Those are the demon-possessed that are engaging in stalking. And the Ontario Police are underscoring that system of stalking where they're following me around day and night in helicopters. This is P.O.C. It's the Ontario Town Square at 11:55 p.m.